Ladies and gentlemen, we were never created to live by feelings. We were created to live by principles. Motivation is an emotion. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you feel like doing it, and the next day you don't. But if you only move when you feel like it, you will never arrive at the place of purpose. You see, growth is not automatic. It is not inherited. It is not transferred. Growth is intentional. You have to force yourself to grow. You must stretch, push, challenge, and confront yourself. You must do what is necessary, not what is convenient. Let me tell you something that will challenge your thinking. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. You cannot build anything meaningful on feelings. You build your future on structure. Discipline is what turns small decisions into great destinies. Look around. Champions don't train because they're motivated. They train because they're disciplined. Leaders don't wake up early because they feel good. They wake up early because they have a mandate. They don't pray, study, fast, build, lead, or sacrifice because they're always inspired. They do it because they are committed to a vision greater than themselves. You see, success does not answer to desire. Success answers to discipline. Desire is cheap. Discipline is costly. Anybody can want to be successful. But how many are willing to wake up when it's dark? Study when others are asleep. Stay focused when distractions are plenty. Okay, here's the truth. You cannot be trusted with greatness until you master discipline. Because the same hands that build can also destroy if they lack control. Discipline is not punishment. It is alignment. It brings your actions into agreement with your assignment. It restricts your present for the sake of your future. Discipline is saying no to now so you can say yes to later. Don't tell me how excited you are. Show me how consistent you are. Don't tell me about your dreams. Show me your habits. Because your future is not in your motivation. It is in your routines. Your growth is your responsibility. Not your mentors, not your bosses, not your environments. You must force yourself to grow. The tree does not choose its soil, but it can choose to dig deeper. You may not control your conditions, but you can control your consistency. Stop blaming seasons. Stop waiting for the right mood. Start building. Start waking up. Start committing, whether you feel like it or not. The truth is, motivation brings crowds. Discipline builds kingdoms. And the world is not waiting for more inspired people. It's waiting for people who have mastered themselves. So today I leave you with this. Don't just chase moments. Build momentum. Don't just get motivated. Get disciplined. Because the future does not belong to the most excited. It belongs to the most consistent. Force yourself to grow, and the world will make room for the person you become. Motivation is like the wind. It can come suddenly, stir you up, and just as quickly fade away. One powerful speech, one emotional video, one great conversation can ignite a spark within you. But what happens when that spark burns out? What happens when the music stops, when the crowd leaves, and you're left with nothing but silence and responsibility? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is not based on emotion. It is not subject to moods, feelings, or the atmosphere around you. It is built on conviction. It is a decision you make and keep making long after the excitement has worn off. Motivation might push you to start a thing, but only discipline will help you finish it. Seasons change. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel strong. Life will not always feel fair. But discipline is not concerned with feelings. It is rooted in purpose. It says, I will show up anyway. I will do what must be done because I am not living for how I feel. I am living for what I've been called to do. The person who depends on motivation alone will always need to be refueled. They will need a new song, a new speaker, a new reason. But the person who's developed discipline has become their own fuel. They wake up without applause. They grind without recognition. They remain focused when others lose interest because they understand that what's built on discipline will last, while what's built on emotion will fade. Discipline makes you dependable. Discipline makes you trustworthy. It gives you the strength to repeat greatness daily, not occasionally. It is what turns moments of brilliance into a lifestyle of impact. So yes, motivation may get your attention, but discipline earns your transformation. One is temporary, the other is eternal. No one wakes up one day suddenly wise, mature, or successful. Growth doesn't just happen because time passes. Time alone changes nothing. Decisions do. You don't grow because you're getting older. You grow because you've made a choice to confront your limitations, challenge your habits, and consistently do the work that development demands. Every level of growth requires awareness and action. You must recognize where you are, identify where you need to be, and deliberately take steps toward that place. Without that clarity and commitment, you remain the same, just older. You will never drift into discipline. You won't stumble into excellence. You won't fall into a powerful prayer life or accidentally build a strong character. Those things are the result of daily intentional choices. You must plan for growth. You must create environments that challenge you, relationships that stretch you, and habits that align with your goals. If you don't design your growth, life will design your mediocrity. Growth also demands humility. It requires admitting that you do not know everything, that you have blind spots, and that there's more to learn, more to become. Intentional growth embraces feedback, correction, and even failure, not as threats, but as tools. You cannot grow if you're too comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of change. That's why intentional growth often feels like inconvenience. It pulls you out of ease and into effort. It forces you to do what you've never done so you can become what you've never been. Nothing great grows by accident. Gardens must be cultivated. Muscles must be worked. Wisdom must be pursued. You must fight for your growth, protect it and feed it. Because without intention, the potential inside you will lie dormant, unused, unseen. If you want to grow, you have to mean it. You have to schedule it. You have to show up for it. Growth is not found in the wish, it's found in the work. What you do occasionally shapes your memories. What you do consistently shapes your destiny. Every day, you are writing the story of your future. Not with grand events, but with small, repeated actions. Your habits, those quiet decisions no one sees, are the architects of who you will become. We often think the future is something distant, something that will reveal itself one day. But the truth is, the future is not waiting somewhere ahead of you. It's being formed right now in the patterns of your behavior. Your schedule reveals your priorities. Your routines reveal your beliefs. Your discipline, or lack of it, reveals your direction. If you want to know what your life will look like in 5 years, don't ask for a prophecy. Look at your habits today. Look at what you read, how you spend your time, how you treat your body, how often you pray or reflect, how you invest in your mind, your relationships, your purpose. These small repeated actions are seeds. They may seem insignificant now, but over time they produce a harvest, good or bad. You can't expect a different future if your habits remain the same. Hope will not override habit. Desire will not defeat discipline. The person who achieves greatness isn't always the most talented. They're often the most consistent. They master their mornings. They protect their focus. They learn when others are distracted. They practice when others relax. Your destiny is not found in the big moments alone. It's hidden in the unseen hours. The late nights when you keep going. The early mornings when you rise with intention. The choices you make when no one is watching. These are the bricks that build your future. You don't need more time, you need more structure. Because it's not about how much time you have, it's about what you do with the time you already have. And if your habits don't reflect your goals, then your goals are just fantasies. Greatness is never an accident. It is engineered by what you do daily. So if you want to unlock the future you dream about, master the habits you live with today. They are real, but they are not always right. They are powerful, but not always accurate. Emotions were never designed to lead your life. They are meant to serve it. When you let feelings dictate your actions, you build on shifting sand. Because emotions can change with the weather, with a conversation, with a moment. What feels true in one moment can feel foolish the next. That's why living by emotion is like trusting a compass that constantly changes direction. There will be days when you don't feel strong, but you are. Days when you don't feel loved, but you are. Days when you don't feel like moving forward, yet progress is still possible. If you allow emotions to make those decisions, you will retreat when you should advance. You will quit when you should persist. You will hide when you are called to rise. Emotions are indicators, not dictators. They tell you something is happening, but they don't always tell you what's true. Fear may show up, but that doesn't mean you're in danger. Doubt may whisper, but that doesn't mean you're unqualified. You must learn to feel your emotions, acknowledge them, but not surrender to them. Feelings can ride in the car, but they should never take the wheel. Maturity is learning to act on principle, not impulse. Discipline is doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Wisdom is knowing that truth remains even when emotion fluctuates. Leaders, builders, and visionaries cannot afford to be ruled by how they feel in a moment. They must be anchored in something deeper. Purpose doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Growth doesn't wait for you to feel excited. Destiny doesn't adjust itself to match your emotional state. The most important steps you take will often feel uncomfortable. But that's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to lean in. Let your values, your calling, your commitments be your guide. Let principles lead you when feelings fail you. Because emotions are temporary, but the consequences of your decisions are not. If you live by emotion, you'll live in cycles. If you live by truth, you'll move in progress. So, feel deeply, but act wisely. Respect your emotions, but do not obey them. Nothing meaningful in life comes without cost. Purpose is not free. It will ask for your comfort, your convenience, your excuses, and sometimes your popularity. It will challenge your preferences and stretch your limits. If you truly want to walk in your purpose, you must be prepared to pay the price it requires, not once, but daily. Purpose is not a feeling or a dream. It is an assignment. And every assignment comes with responsibility. You cannot fulfill your purpose and live casually. You cannot walk in destiny and still cling to distraction. There is always a trade-off. To say yes to purpose is to say no to many things. No to procrastination, no to laziness, no to living for approval, and no to staying the same. Many people want the outcome of purpose, but they don't want the process. They want the reward, but not the refinement. But purpose will not be handed to you. It must be pursued, protected, and prioritized. It will demand late nights and early mornings. It will require sacrifice when no one sees, and faithfulness when no one applauds. You must be willing to go through what others avoid, to carry wheat others drop, to endure seasons that feel lonely, misunderstood, even painful. Because purpose is not built in the spotlight. It's forged in the fire of discipline, adversity, and obedience. The question is not, do you have a purpose? Everyone does. The question is, are you willing to pay for it? The cost is different for each person, but the principle is the same. You cannot walk in destiny without surrendering comfort. You cannot make a lasting impact without letting something in you die. Pride, fear, ease, or entitlement. Purpose is expensive because it's eternal. It touches lives beyond yours. It reaches further than your lifetime. And anything that carries that kind of weight will never come cheap. So when you feel the cost rising, when the sacrifices feel heavy and the path feels narrow, remember, you're not paying for pain, you're investing in purpose. And everything surrendered in the process becomes seed for a greater harvest. No matter how big your vision is, if it lacks structure, it will collapse under its own weight. Structure is what gives form to your potential. It's the framework that turns ideas into reality, passion into productivity, and dreams into results. Without structure, energy is wasted, focus is scattered, and progress is inconsistent. Structure is not restriction. It is foundation. It is what allows freedom to flourish in the right direction. A river only gains power when its waters are channeled. Without banks, it becomes a flood. In the same way, your talent, your time, your thoughts, they need boundaries, systems, and order to create sustainable success. Many people fail not because they lack vision, but because they lack the structure to sustain it. Inspiration might get you started, but it is structure that keeps you going. It creates rhythm, routine, and reliability. It tells your time where to go, your energy what to do, and your life how to move in alignment with your goals. Success doesn't show up randomly. It responds to preparation. And structure is preparation in action. It's waking up with intention, planning your day, managing your resources, honoring your priorities, holding yourself accountable. It's the invisible discipline that produces visible results. You cannot build anything lasting on chaos. A house without structure will fall, no matter how beautiful its design. A life without structure will drift, no matter how great the potential. Even creativity, innovation, and leadership at their best depend on systems to thrive. The most powerful minds in history were not just dreamers. They were disciplined builders who understood the power of structure. If you want consistent outcomes, you need consistent order. If you want peace, you need patterns that support it. If you want growth, you need structure that sustains it. Because success is not born in moments of excitement. It is born in the daily deliberate choices that build a strong and steady foundation. Structure is not the enemy of success. It is its silent partner. There is no transformation without discomfort. You cannot become more while staying the same. Growth stretches you. It challenges your limits, confronts your habits, and exposes your weaknesses. It pushes you into places you'd rather avoid and forces you to deal with truths you'd rather ignore. That process is not easy, and it's not supposed to be. Pain is the evidence that you're being refined. The muscles of your body do not grow without tension and resistance. They must be torn slightly so they can rebuild stronger. The same is true for your mind, your character, and your purpose. Growth breaks comfort. It removes what's unnecessary so that what's essential can remain. It peels away false identity, shallow thinking, and emotional immaturity so you can emerge clearer, wiser, and more capable. Pain reveals what's real. It tests your motives. It separates the committed from the casual. When everything is easy, everyone seems strong. But when pain enters, when the process gets heavy, that's when true growth begins. It forces you to dig deeper than motivation. It introduces you to discipline, patience, and endurance. Growth will often feel like loss. You may lose comfort, relationships, convenience, or control, but what you gain, maturity, clarity, resilience, purpose, is far more valuable than what you leave behind. The pain is not punishment, it's preparation. It is shaping you into someone who can handle what you've been called to carry. Avoiding pain is avoiding growth. The two are inseparable. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise is not the presence of pain, but how they respond to it. Some retreat when pain shows up. Others lean in because they understand that on the other side of pain is power, and on the other side of breaking is becoming. True growth doesn't pamper you, it perfects you. It doesn't comfort your ego, it confronts it. It may not feel good in the moment, but it produces something far greater than temporary ease. It builds strength that can't be shaken, wisdom that can't be stolen, and purpose that can't be denied. So when pain shows up in the process, don't curse it, understand it. Embrace it. Let it do its work. Because every stretch, every challenge, every tear is taking you one step closer to who you were always meant to be. It's easy to say you want something. It's easy to talk about goals, dreams, and visions, but words mean nothing without action. And intentions mean nothing without consistency. Discipline is the daily evidence that you are serious. It is what separates wishful thinking from true dedication. You don't prove commitment by how passionately you start. You prove it by how faithfully you continue. Anyone can be committed when it's convenient, when energy is high and the conditions are favorable. But real commitment shows up in the grind, in the mundane, in the quiet moments when no one is watching. That's where discipline lives. In the choices you make when quitting would be easier, when distractions are louder, and when motivation is gone. Discipline doesn't depend on emotion. It depends on decision. It says, I will keep showing up, not because I feel like it, but because I gave my word. It is the backbone of follow-through. It keeps your feet moving, even when your mind is tired. It aligns your behavior with your purpose again and again until excellence becomes your habit. Commitment is not proven in the fire of passion, but in the slow burn of consistency. It's the repetition of small intentional actions over time that builds trust. Trust in yourself and trust from others. When you're disciplined, people know they can count on you. You become dependable, not because you're extraordinary, but because you're faithful. Discipline is how you honor your calling. It's how you respect your potential. It's how you protect what matters most. Without it, commitment is just a concept. But with it, commitment becomes a lifestyle. So you say you're committed. Let your discipline speak. Let your choices tell the story. Let your habits confirm what your mouth declared. Because in the end, discipline is the most powerful demonstration that you're not just interested, you're invested. You can be surrounded by greatness and still choose mediocrity. You can have access to opportunities, mentors, and resources, and yet remain unchanged if you don't decide to act. Being in the right place is not enough. It's what you do in that place that determines your growth. Environments may influence, but they do not transform. Your choices do. It's easy to believe that if your surroundings improved, your life would too. That if you had more time, better people, more support, or less pressure, you would finally become who you were meant to be. But that thinking puts power in the wrong hands. It turns you into a product of your conditions instead of the product of your convictions. Transformation begins when you take ownership, when you stop waiting for things around you to shift and start shifting your mindset, your attitude, your priorities. You can be in a dark place and still choose to shine. You can be in a place of lack and still make decisions that lead to abundance. You can come from brokenness and still choose to build wholeness. Your environment can plant seeds, but it's your decisions that water them. Growth is not automatic because of exposure. It's intentional because of commitment. Two people can be in the same room, hear the same wisdom, face the same challenges. One grows, the other stays the same. The difference is not the room, it's the response. You may not control your circumstances, but you always control your choices. And the power to rise is never outside of you. It's in your daily decisions. The choice to learn, to discipline yourself, to believe, to move forward, to not give up. Those are the decisions that shape your future. The right environment can open doors, but only your decisions can walk you through them. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start deciding who you want to become and commit to it, regardless of what surrounds you. Because true change doesn't begin with where you are. It begins with what you decide to do next. So often we stand still, thinking we need more time, more resources, more validation before we can step into who we were born to be. We wait for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, the green light from someone else before we move. But the truth is, greatness is not something that arrives from the outside. It is something that is unlocked from within. Everything you need to begin is already in you. The seed of greatness was placed there before you ever took your first breath. It's not something you earn. It's something you activate through obedience, through discipline, through action. The delay is not in your potential. It's in your decision. It's in the hesitation to start, the fear of failure, the belief that you are not yet enough. But greatness doesn't respond to comfort. It responds to courage. It doesn't require perfection. It requires a decision to rise above excuses, to push past fear, to take responsibility for your calling. It's not waiting on your ideal conditions. It's waiting on your intentional commitment. You don't need to be discovered. You need to be developed. And that development starts when you stop looking outward and start leaning inward. The moment you choose to act, to show up fully, to lead, to build, to serve, greatness begins to emerge. Not all at once, not in a burst of applause, but quietly, steadily, through your daily faithfulness. Greatness is not a spotlight moment. It's a lifestyle of integrity, of purpose, of consistent pursuit. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are not late. Greatness has been waiting for you to say yes to your assignment, your process, your responsibility. The longer you delay, the longer it waits. But the moment you move, it meets you. Because greatness doesn't come to the passive. It reveals itself to the committed. And it's not ahead of you, it's within reach, waiting for your decision to become everything you were created to be. You were not designed to drift. You were created to dominate. But nothing in your future will manifest without your discipline today. Motivation may spark a moment, but only discipline builds a legacy. Growth will cost you comfort. Purpose will demand pain. Greatness will require structure. And commitment will call for consistency. But the reward is undeniable. You do not need to wait another day. You do not need a louder voice telling you who you are. You need a deeper decision to become it. This is your moment. Not to talk about what you will do, but to start doing it. To rise with intention. To live with order. To move with clarity. To lead with conviction. And to walk boldly into the future that has been waiting on your obedience. The world doesn't need another talented dreamer. It needs a disciplined finisher. So decide today, you will not be ruled by emotion. You will not be confined by fear. You will not be delayed by excuses. You will build, you will grow, you will rise. But because greatness is not coming, it's already here and it's been waiting on